You know when you feel a nagging discomfort, like a persistent little pain that you try to ignore? That's how I was feeling. At first, it was just a twinge here, another there, nothing too serious. I thought to myself, oh, it must be tiredness, bad posture, work stress. You know, we always find an excuse. Try to normalize everything, right? I was always on the go, work, home, family, no time for whims. The little pain would come and go, but I always found a way to push through. A painkiller here, a massage there, and life goes on. But over time, things began to change. The pain became stronger, more constant. It started to really bother me, disrupt my sleep, make me irritable. Still, I resisted, you know? I tried to convince myself that it was just a phase, that it would pass. Until one day, the pain became so intense that I couldn't get out of bed. That's when it hit me. I realized that I could no longer ignore it, that I needed to see a doctor, that something was not right. That was the moment when my normalcy crumbled and I was forced to face reality. Hello, my name is Beatrice, and until recently, I was just like any of you, a 38-year-old woman with a normal life, full of work, family, friends, dreams, and plans for the future. I would wake up early, rush to work, have a quick lunch, pick up the kids from school, make dinner, help with homework, the routine of everyone. But suddenly, everything changed. A routine checkup revealed cancer, and my life turned upside down. Today, I am here to share my story with you. I know it's difficult to talk about this, but I feel like I need to. For a long time, I ignored the signals from my body. I thought I was strong, invincible, that nothing bad could happen to me. But I found out the hard way that we are not superheroes. We are fragile, vulnerable, and we need to take care of our health. I decided to share my experience to alert other people about the importance of listening to their bodies, not ignoring the signs, and seeking medical help as soon as possible. If I had done that earlier, maybe my diagnosis would have been different. I don't want anyone to go through what I am going through. I want to turn my pain into awareness, into prevention. If my story can help at least one person, it will have been worth it. I know it's not easy, but we need to talk about this. We need to take care of ourselves. In the beginning, it was just a ouch here, another there. You know when you stretch too much and feel that quick twinge? It was similar, but it came without warning. I quickly associated it with work stress. We're always on the go, right? Meeting after meeting, tight deadlines, bills to pay. Of course it was going to take a toll on my body. I thought to myself, relax, Beatrice, it's just a muscle tension. It'll pass soon. So I would take a painkiller I had at home, one of those from the pharmacy, an ibuprofen, a paracetamol. I would take it and wait for the pain to disappear. And most of the time it did, at least for a while. Then the pain started to change. It wasn't just a quick twinge anymore. It was a constant discomfort, as if I were carrying a weight on my back all the time. I began justifying it with bad posture. I work on the computer all day, I don't stretch, I sleep in a bad position. It was the perfect combination for back pain, right? I started using those muscle pain relief ointments, you know? Those that heat up and give an immediate sense of relief. It worked for a few hours, but then the pain would come back in full force. Then, I started getting more irritable, tired, anything would set me off, and the pain only got worse. I started taking the painkillers more frequently until they no longer had any effect. The pain was constant, throbbing. It prevented me from sleeping, from focusing on work, from playing with my kids. Nonetheless, I resisted seeking medical help. I had so much to do, so many things to resolve. I didn't have time for fussiness, as I thought. Besides, I was afraid of what the doctor might say, afraid of having to stop everything, afraid of finding out it was something serious. I remember one time when the pain was so strong that I couldn't take my son to soccer practice. He was so upset. It broke my heart. But still, I convinced myself it was just a phase, that it would pass. I tried hot compresses, stretching, massage, all in vain. The pain persisted, consumed me, robbed me of the joy of living. It was only when the pain became unbearable, when I couldn't get out of bed anymore, that I finally surrendered and sought medical help. That's when my life changed forever. The progression of the symptoms was gradual, but relentless. In the beginning, as I've already mentioned, they were just passing twinges, easy to ignore. But over time, the frequency and intensity increased. The pains began to concentrate on the lower back, radiating to the legs. It was as if fine needles were continuously being stuck into my spine. Sometimes the pain was so severe that it prevented me from moving, forcing me to lie down for hours. Work was one of the first things to be affected. I, who had always been so productive and dedicated, started to have difficulties concentrating, meeting deadlines, participating in meetings. The pain made me irritable, impatient, and I ended up taking it out on my colleagues. I needed to constantly excuse myself to go to the bathroom to take painkillers or try to do quick stretches that ultimately didn't help at all. I even made up excuses to skip work, afraid that they would find out what was happening. Relationships also suffered. I, who had always been so active and sociable, started to isolate myself. The pains prevented me from going out with friends, from attending parties, from participating in leisure activities. I began to decline invitations, making up lame excuses. I felt guilty for not being able to be present in the lives of the people I loved, but the pain was stronger. At home, the situation was even worse. The pain prevented me from playing with my children, from helping them with homework, from doing household chores. My husband had to take on a large part of the responsibilities, which caused a huge huge strain on our relationship. I felt useless, unable to take care of my family. Physical limitations became increasingly evident. I started having difficulties walking, climbing stairs, bending down. Even simple tasks like taking a shower or getting dressed became a challenge. Sleep was torture. The pain kept me from sleeping, and when I finally managed to fall asleep, I woke up several times during the night. Frustration and despair invaded me every day. I felt powerless in the face of that situation. My body, which had always been my ally, now seemed to be betraying me. I tried to hide the situation from the people around me, afraid of worrying them or being judged. I thought that if I showed weakness, I would be seen as incapable, as someone who couldn't handle their own life. But deep down, I knew I couldn't continue like this. I needed to seek help. I needed to face reality. The pain was consuming me from the inside, robbing me of the joy of living. I didn't want cancer to define me. I wanted to fight. I wanted to have a chance to be happy again. It was in that moment of despair that I decided I would change my story. The day I finally mustered the courage to seek medical help was a mix of relief and dread. Relief for finally taking a step towards a solution, dread of what could be discovered. I booked an appointment with a general practitioner, a doctor I had known for some time, which made me a little more comfortable. In the waiting room, I felt as if I were in a horror movie. Every cough, every whisper, every name called made me shudder. When I was finally called in, I tried to keep calm, but my hands were shaking. I explained to the doctor about the pains, about the frequency, about how they were affecting my life. He examined me carefully, asked about my family history, my habits, about everything. At the end of the examination, he requested a series of tests: blood, urine, imaging. That request hit me like a bucket of cold water. Imaging? Why imaging? I thought. Fear began to intensify. The following days were torture. The wait for the results was agonizing. I felt as if I were suspended in the air, not knowing where to fall. I researched the tests on the internet, which only worsened my anxiety. Each result that appeared, each unfamiliar medical term, made me more terrified. I avoided talking to people, afraid of having to explain what was going on. I isolated myself in my world of uncertainties and fears. Finally, the day arrived to pick up the results. I was accompanied by my husband, who gave me all the support and affection I needed. I handed in the tests at the reception and waited, once again, to be called in. It seemed like time stood still. Every second was an eternity. When the doctor called me, he invited me to sit down and began to talk about the results. He explained every detail, every technical term, but all I could hear was one thing: cancer. The word echoed in my mind like thunder. Cancer. Me. That word didn't fit with me, with my life, with my plans. At that moment, the world collapsed. I felt like I was falling into an endless abyss. The room was spinning, the sound distorted, and tears began to flow down my face. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It can't be true, I thought. This must be a mistake. The doctor kept talking, explaining about the type of cancer, about treatment options, about the chances of a cure, but I couldn't pay attention to anything. I was in shock, dazed, paralyzed by fear. Fear of pain, fear of suffering, fear of death. At that moment, I felt so fragile, so vulnerable. I realized I wasn't invincible. I wasn't immune to illnesses. I discovered I was as human as anyone else. Questions started to arise in my mind. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? How will I tell my children? What will become of my future? Uncertainty consumed me. Anguish suffocated me. I needed answers. I needed support. I needed a miracle. From that day on, my life would change forever. The battle against cancer had begun. The beginning of treatment felt like entering a dark and unfamiliar maze. Chemotherapy, radiation therapy, surgeries, a whirlwind of medical procedures that were once just words in a book now became my reality. The first chemotherapy session was terrifying. I remember feeling a knot in my stomach, a paralyzing fear, the needle entering my vein, the strange sensation of the liquid flowing through my body. Everything was new and frightening. The side effects didn't take long to appear. Nausea, vomiting, extreme fatigue. My body seemed to be at war with itself. I lost my appetite, and the simple act of getting out of bed became a challenge. The fatigue was so intense that I felt like I was carrying a heavy weight on my shoulders all the time. The muscle pains were constant, and nothing seemed to alleviate them. The loss of hair was one of the hardest moments. Watching my hair fall out in clumps made me feel like I was losing my identity, my femininity. I cried a lot, felt ugly, mutilated, but with the support of my husband and children, I decided to shave my head. It was an act of courage, a way to take control of the situation and show that cancer would not defeat me. Hospitalizations became frequent. With each infection, each complication, it was a new race to the hospital. The needles, the IV drips, the tests, everything was exhausting and painful. But amidst so much pain and suffering, I also found moments of hope and resilience. I met other patients who were going through the same situation, and together we shared our stories, our fears, our dreams. I discovered that I was not alone, that there was a support network around me. Surgeries were inevitable. Each one was a new challenge, a new obstacle to overcome. The fear of anesthesia, post-operative pain, scars, everything scared me. But I trusted the medical team, surrendered to the care of the nurses, and faced each surgery with courage and determination. There were moments of discouragement, of revolt, of questioning. I wondered why this was happening to me, why I had to go through so much pain and suffering. I even thought about giving up, about throwing in the towel. But in those moments, I clung to my faith, to the love of my family, to the support of my friends. They were my safe harbor, my anchor, my strength to move forward. The medical team was crucial throughout the process. The doctors, the nurses, the physical therapists, the psychologists, all of them provided the necessary support for me to face the illness. They explained each procedure to me, answered all my doubts, gave me the affection and attention I needed. Family was my foundation. My husband, my children, my parents, my siblings, they all supported me, encouraged me, gave me strength to fight. They showed me that I was not alone, that they would always be by my side, no matter what happened. Friends were my shoulder to lean on. They visited me in the hospital, called me, sent me messages, invited me out. They showed me that life went on, that I still had much to live. Faith was my light. Believing in something greater than myself gave me strength to face the toughest moments. Prayer calmed me, comforted me, gave me hope. Over time, I learned to live with the illness. I accepted my limitations, learned to take care of my body, to eat healthily, to exercise. I discovered that life is a precious gift, and that each day is a new opportunity to be happy. Many times people confuse terminal illness with palliative care, and it is important to clarify this crucial difference. Being in a terminal state means that the disease is in a very advanced stage, with no possibility of cure, and life expectancy is limited to weeks or months. Palliative care, on the other hand, is an approach aimed at improving the quality of life of patients and families facing serious illnesses at any stage, from diagnosis until the end of life. Palliative care is not synonymous with giving up or that there is nothing more to be done. On the contrary, they are an active and comprehensive care that seeks to relieve pain and other physical symptoms, such as shortness of breath, nausea, fatigue, and insomnia. In addition, palliative care also addresses the emotional, social, and spiritual well-being of the patient and their family. A multidisciplinary team composed of doctors, nurses, psychologists, social workers, and other professionals works together to provide personalized and compassionate care. Contrary to what many think, palliative care can be initiated at any time during the illness, even when the patient is still receiving treatments to try to control or cure the disease. The goal is to complement conventional treatment, offering relief from symptoms and emotional support so that the patient can live the best possible life, enjoying each moment. In my journey against cancer, palliative care was essential in helping me cope with the side effects of treatment and maintain my quality of life. In addition to medications to control pain and other symptoms, I also tried some alternative therapies that brought me comfort and well-being. Meditation helped me calm my mind, reduce stress and anxiety. Through conscious breathing and mindfulness, I was able to connect with the present moment and find inner peace. Regular meditation practice helped me sleep better, deal with difficult emotions, and have more mental clarity. Yoga was also very beneficial for me. Gentle postures combined with deep breathing helped me stretch my muscles, relieve tension, and improve my flexibility. Additionally, yoga provided me with a moment of relaxation and connection with my body, which helped me accept the changes that were happening to me. Acupuncture was another therapy that brought me a lot of relief. Fine needles inserted at specific points on my body helped me reduce pain, control nausea, and improve my energy. Acupuncture also helped balance my emotions and strengthen my immune system. It is important to emphasize that alternative therapies do not replace conventional medical treatment, but they can be a valuable complement to improve the patient's quality of life and well-being. Each person is unique, and what works for one person may not work for another. Therefore, it is important to talk to your doctor and try different therapies to find the ones that are most suitable for you. Palliative care and alternative therapies showed me that it is possible to live with quality, even in the face of a serious illness. I learned to value each moment, to connect with the people I love, and to find joy in the small things in life. I discovered that hope lies not only in curing the disease, but also in the possibility of living a full and meaningful life despite the challenges. Life sometimes plays tricks on us that seem like scripts from a dramatic movie. After fighting so much, undergoing chemotherapy, radiotherapy, surgeries, feeling my body weakened and hope being reborn every day, came the news that no one wants to hear. The disease had returned. The recurrence. The sensation was as if a bucket of cold water hit me in the middle of summer. Everything I had achieved, the remission, the return to routine, the joy of seeing my children grow, seemed to vanish like smoke. The frustration was immense. It was as if the battle had never ended, as if the enemy was just waiting for the right moment to strike again. I felt exhausted, not only physically but also emotionally. Will I have the strength to face all of this again? I wondered. The answer seemed uncertain, distant. This time, the symptoms were different. A persistent back pain that did not respond to painkillers, extreme fatigue that prevented me from performing the simplest tasks, a dry cough that accompanied me day and night. I decided to see the doctor as soon as possible. New tests were requested, and the wait for the results was even more anguishing than the first time. And then came the diagnosis: metastasis. The disease had spread to other organs. The ground opened up beneath my feet. The word death began to frequent my thoughts more often. The fear, once dormant, woke up with full force. Fear of leaving my children, my husband, husband, my family, fear of not seeing the future, of not fulfilling my dreams, fear of suffering, of feeling pain, of losing dignity. Acceptance of this new reality was a slow and painful process. I cried a lot, I rebelled, I questioned God, but gradually I came to understand that I could not give in to despair. I needed to find the strength to move forward, to fight with all my weapons. Seeking psychological support was crucial. Therapy helped me organize my thoughts, deal with my fears and anxieties, find meaning in everything that was happening. Talking to other people going through the same situation also brought me a lot of comfort. Sharing my experiences, listening to others' stories of overcoming, made me feel less alone. Spirituality also plays an important role in this journey. Faith gives me strength to believe that everything will be okay, that there is a greater purpose in all of this. Prayer calms me, comforts me, connects me to something higher. Today, I try to focus on the present, to enjoy each day as if it were the last. I value simple moments, like a hug from my children, a smile from my husband, a sunset. I have learned to be grateful for everything I have, instead of lamenting what I have lost. I know the journey is difficult, that there will be good days and bad days, but I have decided not to be defeated by the illness. I want to live intensely, with joy, with love, with hope. I want to be an example of strength and overcoming for my children, for my family, for all those facing cancer. I want to show that it is possible to live with dignity, even in the face of death. If there is one lesson that this journey has taught me in vibrant colors and subtle touches, it is the importance of living in the present, of savoring each moment as if it were the last sip of a delicious drink on a hot day. Before, I was so absorbed in spreadsheets, commitments, and long-term goals that I forgot to take a deep breath and appreciate the simple beauty that surrounded me. Today, each sunrise is a blank canvas, an opportunity to create precious memories and collect moments of pure contentment. I have found immense pleasure in things that used to go unnoticed. The scent of fresh coffee in the morning, the warmth of the sun on my face as I walk through the park, the sound of my children's laughter echoing through the house, the softness of my cat's fur purring on my lap. Small details that, when combined, compose a mosaic of happiness that warms the soul and lights up the heart. I have returned to dedicating myself to activities that have always brought me joy, but that, due to lack of time or priority, had been put on the back burner. I rediscovered the pleasure of painting, of expressing my feelings and emotions in colors and shapes on the canvas. Music has become a constant companion again, engulfing my days with melodies that transport me to other worlds and make me dance as if no one is watching. And above all, I have reconnected with nature, feeling the vital energy that beats from the trees, the flowers, the rivers, and the oceans. Moments of joy have become even more precious. Conversations with friends, family dinners, weekend outings, trips to new places. Every smile, every hug, every word of affection is a treasure that I carefully keep in my heart. Illness has taught me to value relationships, to express my feelings without fear or hesitation. I have learned to say I love you more often, to show gratitude for the people who support me, to forgive past hurts. Communication has become more open and sincere, and bonds of affection have strengthened even more. Being grateful for life has become a daily practice. I am grateful for the health I have, for the family that loves me, for the friends who support me, for the opportunities that come my way. I even appreciate the challenges, as I know they make me stronger and help me grow. To prioritize what really matters: family, health, inner peace. To set aside unnecessary worries, excessive demands, the relentless pursuit of recognition and approval. I have learned that happiness is not in having, but in being. Living according to my values, following my heart, doing what makes me happy. I have understood that time is a precious and limited asset, and we cannot waste it on things that do not bring us joy or purpose. We need to seize every moment, live intensely, love unconditionally, and make a difference in the world. This journey has transformed me into a stronger, more resilient, more aware, and more grateful person for life. I have learned to appreciate every moment, to love the people around me, and to pursue my dreams with courage and determination. And above all, I have learned that happiness is within me, and I can find it in every detail, in every smile, in every hug. Life is a gift, and we should make the most of it. Life and death, for me, have ceased to be abstract concepts and have become faces of the same coin, inseparable parts of an eternal cycle. Before the illness, I saw them as opposites, with life being something to be fully experienced and death something to be feared and avoided at all costs. Today, I understand them as complementary, like the breath that inspires and expires, like the day that follows the night. Death is not the end, but rather a transition, a gateway to a new dimension, a well-deserved rest after a long journey. The experience of illness stripped me of illusions and confronted me with my own mortality. I realized that we are fragile and vulnerable beings, that life is ephemeral, and that we cannot control everything. This awareness freed me from the burden of expectations and allowed me to live with more lightness and authenticity. Illness turned me into a stronger person, not in the sense of invincibility, but in the sense of resilience. I learned to deal with pain, with suffering, with uncertainty. I discovered that I am capable of enduring much more than I had imagined. With each obstacle overcome, overcome, with each battle won, I feel more confident in my ability to face the challenges that life presents to me. Illness also made me more compassionate. I began to see the world with more empathy, to put myself in the shoes of others, to understand their pains and difficulties. Proximity to suffering awakened in me the desire to help, to bring comfort and hope to those who are going through difficult times. The legacy I want to leave is one of overcoming, faith, hope, and love. I want people to remember me as someone who fought with fierceness, who never gave up, who believed in life until the very last moment. I want to inspire others to take care of their health, to cherish each moment, to live fully, to pursue their dreams with courage and determination. It is essential that all of us, regardless of age or social status, are aware of the importance of prevention. Getting regular checkups, adopting healthy habits, avoiding smoking and excessive alcohol consumption, engaging in physical exercise, eating a balanced diet are simple actions that can make all the difference in preventing cancer and other illnesses. Furthermore, it is essential that we have a positive attitude towards life. Cultivating good humor, joy, optimism, and gratitude are fundamental ingredients for a happy and healthy life. Believing in yourself, in your dreams, in your ability to overcome challenges is the first step to achieving your goals. For those facing similar challenges, I want to leave a message of hope and encouragement. Do not lose heart. Do not lose faith. Do not succumb to despair. Remember that you are not alone, that there is a support network around you, that there are people who care about you. Seek medical, psychological, and spiritual help. Talk to your family, your friends, your confidants. Share your pains, your fears, your anxieties. Do not be afraid to ask for help. Believe in healing. Believe in life. Believe that it is possible to overcome illness, that it is possible to live with quality, even in the face of difficulties. Remember that you are stronger than you think. You are warriors. You are survivors. Do not give up the fight. Life is a precious gift, and we must make the most of it. Each day is a new opportunity to be happy, to love, to dream, to achieve. Do not let illness steal the joy of living. Find reasons to smile, to celebrate, to connect with the people you love. Live intensely, with passion, with purpose, and always remember, hope is the last to die. If I could go back in time, one of the first things I would do is pay more attention to the signs my body was sending me. Those pains I ignored, the tiredness I justified with the stress of everyday life, all of those were warnings that I neglected. Therefore, I want to emphasize the importance of listening to our bodies, of being attentive to any changes, to any discomfort. Do not underestimate any pain, no matter how small it may seem. Do not be afraid to seek a doctor, to ask questions, to undergo tests. Prevention is crucial, and early diagnosis can make all the difference in the treatment of cancer and other diseases. Based on my experience, the advice I would give to anyone facing a cancer diagnosis is, do not despair. I know it's hard, that fear is inevitable, but try to remain calm and hopeful. Seek information about the disease, treatment options, side effects. Talk to your doctors, ask all your questions. Do not be afraid to ask for help. Find a support network, whether in your family, friends, or patient groups. Share your experiences, fears, anxieties. Faith is also very important. Believe in something greater, in a higher power that can give you strength to move forward. Maintain a positive attitude. Try to focus on the present, on enjoying each day, every moment. Remember that you are stronger than you think and that life is a precious gift. To finish, I want to express all my love and gratitude to my family, friends, doctors, and all who supported me on this journey. I am grateful for life, opportunities, challenges, joys, and sorrows. I believe in the power of life, in human resilience, and in the importance of cherishing each moment. May my story serve as inspiration for others to take care of their health, love intensely, and live fully.